Hi, lovely listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in today on the Outlaw Podcast Show. We believe that information sharing is one of the most important factors to consider to propel an interactive society. Here on the Outlaw Podcast Show, we get interactive with social creative creators, dialogue about trending issues of change, and diversity of minds to stir up the change factor. With your host, Salasi Kwamitete. Enjoy.
In Africa, the way we have stationed ourselves, we have become very myopic in our thinking. In the outside world, when somebody goes to school or somebody gets an education, it is usually not to work for somebody. It is usually to set up their own thing and to generate their own funds. Okay? Now, back home, things are not like that. People want stability. People want, basic education. Education is good. I'm not saying education is not good. It is good. But when you get to a time where everybody cannot be an engineer, everybody cannot be a lawyer.
Of course.
But
this is a society where they are kind of stereotyping the whole thing. Like, we want you to be a doctor.
yeah,
We need to sell our plot of land for you to get to medical school.
Right.
Meanwhile, you have a passion in gaming. You are a game enthusiast and all that.
yeah. Because right now, the gaming has moved from leisure. It's more or less now a sport. In 20, I think in about 2 or 3 years' time, they are going to introduce gaming as an Olympic sport. It's going to be an Olympic sport.
Which federation or like which country?
Esports. They're going to call it esports.
Esports.
Okay. Even currently, there's a Premier League esport team for
Yeah.
FIFA.
Yes.
Okay.
I heard about that.
And there's also another one for pro.
I see.
Yes, there's also last week or so, Manchester United sponsored 3 boys, and Bayern Munich sponsored 3 boys to have a competition on pro. Now,
Wow.
the amount of money that these guys are playing for, very few lawyers and very few engineers will see that amount of money in 5 years.
You mean they are really going to make huge amount of money from that? Because
Absolutely.
lawyers, I mean, your yearly income alone can't get to that amount.
Absolutely. These guys are playing for millions of dollars.
But you see, they are playing for a cause where probably their percentage might be meager.
No, actually, the truth of the matter is, it's given to the boys. It's given to the boys because they've worked hard for it. It's a sport now. It's content creation.
Yeah.
The whole point is content creation, creating a source of entertainment for your viewers.
Okay, so now bringing it back to Ghana, do you have a case study, not just Ghana, Africa? Do you have a case study like that? Do you know some few people in Africa that are trying to change the narrative?
Yes. Yesterday also, I was talking to a streamer in South Africa, and he was telling me about streaming in South Africa, and it's quite difficult because
Does he spend a huge amount of money on?
Yes, he was telling me that when he used to stay in the US and he now moved to South Africa, and he was telling me that the amount of money he's paying for his internet alone.
Wow. And it's being sponsored by a telecommunication company, or is just an internet provider?
An ISP.
Okay.
An ISP is giving him internet, but the amount of money he's paying for is ridiculous. He cannot make any profit.
Profits, yeah.
And so if Africa wants to move to the next stage where we compete with the world, internet is the solution. We need to prioritize internet, because once we get internet into our rural areas and we make internet a basic need of our society, then we can gradually bridge that gap we have with the West. Because the truth of the matter is, you have a lot of YouTubers now making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if they do a video on YouTube, right, a 4K video, say, or a 1080p video, now it's going to go for about 10 GB if you're doing an hour.
Yeah.
Also, okay. Now, if you want to upload 10 GB in Ghana or in Africa,
you're just going to sit there.
your data bundle alone, assuming you are doing 10 GB, how much are you going to pay for 10 GB? That's upload.
That means you need to reduce the quality of your video, sort of reduce the minutes.
And so when your video is on YouTube and you have a Western person doing the same kind of, journal,
you can't compete.
You can compete.
Competition is very minimal.
You can't compete.
So what went wrong? I mean, what do you think is the best way for it? Because you just said that we need to make it a basic need in Africa.
Basic need, yes.
And for you to make it a basic need, government must have an upper hand.
Yes.
That means you need to push it into the legislation.
Exactly.
It should be in our parliament.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, our legislators need to talk about it.
Exactly.
So now, how do we spike that kind of agenda?
What's interesting is I was watching a forum where they were talking about this particular issue in Africa.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I could tell by looking at the people there that none of them were below 40. None of them were below 40. Old people.
Oh my God. And they were talking about what?
Internet.
Can imagine. I'm sure they are thinking about 2G, 3G in their mind, like their era.
What are they going to achieve? They need young people to be pioneering this kind of activity or this particular challenge. You need innovative ways, regulatory ways.
I think they also need to be schooled. They also need to be educated.
Absolutely.
In what is happening.
Absolutely. And then the thing is, the government is charging so much tax in the telecom sector.
Yeah.
And so they have to also push it down.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Now, if the government reduces it, just like the way the government does with electricity companies and water companies,
like as in subsidizing.
Exactly. Exactly. If they can do that, it will reduce the cost.
But it's a new agenda. So kind of reducing it and all that probably wouldn't be in the picture now. And I think governments always have their priorities also.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but if you come to Africa, truth be told, if you raise this up, they'll say that we've not gotten there. We have enough on our plates right now.
Exactly.
Right?
But what's interesting? I quite remember when mobile money came into being. It was insane. It sounded insane.
Really, why
would I want to put 5,000 cities on my mobile phone?
Imagine, like, I can see the number. I remember people passing comments like, I want the money itself.
I want the physical cash.
Yes. Why should I
be looking at the money? Now, mobile money is like a god.
Yeah. Now people have embraced it.
Exactly. You have to push the agenda. If you see the pathway, you can push it.
I think the more people have knowledge about this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Another thing that's interesting is when there was an idea of when MTN and Vodafone started this giving people 1 Ghana cedi as an extra bonus when you run out of credit.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the idea was brought up and it was squashed at first.
Yeah. It
was actually somebody's project work.
I see.
I remember it was somebody's project work. The person brought the idea up, and everybody was laughing like, "You are not serious. Why would we want to give somebody 2 Ghana cedis, worth of credit, expecting that the person pays back?"
You mean like something like quick loan?
Yeah, like a quick loan.
Yeah.
Some of these ideas that we think of might look disastrous, but what happens is once we embrace it, it enriches our society. It makes us better. There's an app called Airbnb.
Okay. What does it do?
Now this app, basically this guy sits at home and says, okay, I don't want to go to a hotel. I don't want to go to a flashy place and pay outrageous prices. So I'm going to develop an app. Now this app is going to make your home or anybody's home a hotel when it needs to be.
Give me details.
Okay. So this is what happens. You have a house.
Yeah.
Okay. Assume you have a house, say, in Africa, let's say Kumasi.
Okay.
You stay in Accra, but you have a house in Kumasi.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you made the place nice, and I'm traveling to Kumasi. I don't want to stay in a hotel; it's too expensive.
Yeah.
Right. So your house temporarily becomes a hotel.
A hotel.
On the app. So I can select it. The price and everything is arranged on the app.
I'm sure it is very low, not
prices,
even industry
and
prices.
it's a home.
Yeah.
It's not a hotel, it's a home. So you've got kitchen and everything in there.
You can make extra money.
Absolutely. And no facility or whatsoever. It's just basically an app. Now how do you use the app? Internet. How do you do things?
Internet.
Uber.
Internet. Yeah.
Everything is internet.
People are fully on Facebook now.
Yes. It's internet. It's internet. So the more you push it to the society, the more you make it available to the society uses it, and then people develop ways and means of making jobs out of it. So we have a lot of unemployed guys back home.
I'm sure they have great ideas.
Yes, great ideas, but
great ideas in their mind.
The pathway to put it onto the web is not there.
They are limited.
They are limited.
They're very
by
limited.
virtue of their nationality.
Why do you say that?
Yeah,
because yes,
that's just how it is.
Yeah. I'm sure if they are from Europe or something, they'll find their way around.
Exactly.
Because I know someone who has made his life, come marry, build house. I mean, he's just a YouTube content creator.
Exactly. Content creation is now the next phase of the world right now. It's just going insane right now. There is a guy called Shroud. He was streaming on Twitch, which is a gaming platform.
Yeah,
and there's another gaming platform called Mixer. So Mixer comes to Shroud and said, we're going to offer you, I think it's about $50 million over 2 years or something like that, to move to Mixer. $50 million. This guy made $50 million
just a switch
by moving from one platform to another. How is it possible? The internet. He's been a content creator for a long time. He's been streaming for a very long time. He's got sponsorships. He's got adverts on him. You know, he is like a demigod for gamers right now. And that is just talking about the hierarchy. Now, if you have even people with low tier gamers who are still making a sizable amount of income.
Wow.
And so all these guys who are back home doing Sakawa and doing a lot of promiscuous activities and all that, they could channel that all those energy, all those creativity into a sport. Okay?
Yeah.
Of content creation.
I think I'm feeling you now. I mean,
you understand? Now, if they can push all of that into content creation, they don't need to do all these things because they're making the money anyway.
Well, we need to move on. I mean, we need to move on. So, what are some of the interesting benefits that? No, even before that, who are the major industries to push this agenda?
Okay. Now the first,
because it got me thinking.
The first people who should push this is the parliament.
Yeah.
The parliament needs to understand, or they need to come to a point where they see internet as a need.
But they are like, okay, we provide the internet, but how do we get money from it?
Okay.
You know?
Now, our first issue, especially in Ghana, is that the government necessarily doesn't have a telecom company.
Yeah, as in a government-owned
telecom company. Yeah. I mean, they have shares in Vodafone, but it's not fully government.
Yeah, it's not even.
So you have a bit of an issue there as well, where you have people from the Western world trying to dictate how things should work. You know, there's always a compromise between profits, and availability and all of that. So that is where the issue is. But the government can still push them to lower the tariffs so that it will become affordable. They need to also reduce the taxes they put on their goods. When they are bringing in equipment and stuff.
I think that would I mean.
So it's a regulatory policy of that sort that would help. It's like a domino effect. If you do this, it would help everything.
It would trigger down to
exactly like when MPP came into power, they did the reduction of import tax.
Yes.
On certain cars and all that. The domino effect that was felt. Now the thing is, why was there a need to do that? Because people realize that, you know, this is a business venture. People are losing money.
Yeah. Guys, please, for purposes, this interview or this conversation hasn't been sponsored by any political party. I mean, we are just speaking freely out of free will and free mind. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So the need to do that is because people were pushing for it, because people's livelihood depended on it. Now, if people's livelihood starts to depend on the internet, as it should be now, then there will be an agenda to also push for internet affordability.
You know, in Europe, the EU, recently they just almost, I would say almost all the countries, like now only 24 countries have submitted their risk assessments of 5G in their countries. And if EU, and the risk assessment is for EU to have a comprehensive security, 5G cyber security around their member state countries. So I think this is a step in the right direction. They've embraced 5G. They know the potential harms that 5G can cause, and they are trying to at least minimize the effects. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, in Africa, we've not even had a risk assessment for 4G yet. You get me? We don't even have a risk assessment for 4G, or to talk of 3G, but to talk of even of 5G, I mean, being introduced in Africa.
You see, I'm not even...
So it becomes very difficult.
I'm not even pushing for necessarily 5G in Africa per se. My main concern is affordability. Okay, because the internet back home can be fast. The truth is, it can be fast if you pay for it.
If you have the means, you have the money.
It can be fast if you pay for it.
Yeah.
You understand? But the unemployed cannot pay for it. So if somebody is unemployed, doesn't have money, the person does not have internet available to him to even get him started to do something.
Yeah. I think when you spoke about affordability, something just popped up in my mind. I realized that here in China, there's Wi-Fi signal in every, every spot. Like if it's a restaurant, if it's just a drink, a bar, a spot,
anywhere,
you can find a Wi-Fi password on the wall or something. I think that speaks a lot about affordability.
Yes, it's affordable.
It's affordable. I mean, you can say you don't have data on your phone or something, but you can't be out of the world. I mean, you can't stay out of the world.
Exactly, you can't stay out of the world. You know what's interesting? I realized that because I use the internet here, I am more in tune with stuff happening back home than people who are actually back home.
That's right.
And I'm 8 hours ahead. So far away from Ghana, but I know more things happening in Ghana than the people who are there.
You get alerts as fast than those in Ghana.
Exactly, because of the internet.
Yeah, I know in Africa people are so limited to their data that when they on their data and they check their messages and they reply, they are done and they off their data.
They put it off.
It's only when they feel the necessity to check out something before they on it.
They put it back on.
I mean, why this restriction? Why this self?
Exactly.
It's like we are in a cage where we are being
we are not open to the world. We are not open. And so that is a problem. That is our major issue right now. If we can afford it, if the government can push the telecom companies to give a standard.
I think we can start with our universities. What do you think?
Absolutely. The universities, yes.
Like the moment, it's just an example. Just let me know what you think. Like the moment you are a freshman and you enter into the university, let's say University of Ghana, you are given a SIM card, and you are supposed to use that SIM card so you graduate. You can't throw it away and bring it or use a new SIM card. You can't even port it to a different network. And that SIM card, probably every semester you have an amount of data. Let's say it could be 8 GB or 9 GB. I mean, who doesn't want to use that? On top of it, you have school Wi-Fi around. As a student, I mean, it makes it a bit easier, affordable. People are not too enthusiastic and resilient about their data on their phones. Now, students, I mean, need to pay for their rent, accommodation, internet services. I mean, this tells the difference between an European student and an African student.
Of course.
It's a big
Of course, you see, but the thing is, we are talking about 8 GB. AGB is even small, actually.
Yeah, I'm
mean,
just trying to be a
if you
bit
think about, if you
reasonable.
think about it, if you think about 8 GB, 8 GB is basically just watching 8 movies.
Like streaming 8 movies
Streaming
online.
8 movies in a month.
Yeah. So what do you think?
You can't do anything
Like
about it.
25?
I mean, there are at least 20. At least 20.
Because I know from where I graduated, University of Professional Studies, each student is given 50 GB, and it's to your index number. So your index number has that 50 GB. So when you log on to the school site, you sign in with your index number, with your own password,
Right.
of course. Then you have 50 GB to use for the whole semester.
For the whole semester, okay.
Yeah, so we have a lot of students on campus with their laptops. It's working, you understand?
Yeah.
I can choose not to be an internet freak. I can just give you my details, and you have the internet to yourself.
But you see, another thing,
affordability
another thing
becomes easier.
that my mind has been drawn to is, it's not always also about the data. The speed is also very important.
Yeah.
You can have 50 GB,
but if
and
it's
you
as
have
slow,
1 kilobit per second. You can't achieve anything.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Like there are some networks in Ghana, I don't want to mention it, that they give you 100 GB,
and
you can't do anything. You can't even send a simple WhatsApp
you
message.
send a message, yeah,
But you have
on your
100
phone.
GB.
That's right.
You
Yeah,
just
just
feel like it's just
I wish
there,
the
but,
person don't go
but
in,
you
man.
can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
What is the
yeah,
point of
It's amazing.
having that data when you can't do anything with it? You buy it, but you can't do anything with it.
Yeah. So
And
that
so-
means the megabyte per second is very low, right?
Aha, yeah, the speed is also very low.
Yeah, it's low.
So there has to be a good balance.
Yeah.
There has to be a good balance of that. The government needs to push for a particular standard.
Okay, now let's go into your field a bit.
Mhm.
I mean, if you talk about the speed, right? Okay, now you have an amount of data to use, as in to transfer information, check out your mail and all that. But the speed is not fast. Well, what accounts to that? Is it your distance from the cell tower? Is it your frequency waves around that is distorting each other?
There could be several factors
Yeah.
involved in this. Now, let's start with mobiles, okay?
Yeah, like
Now, with mobile, the first thing that you want to think of is the coverage.
Okay.
What kind of signal are you getting? What is the number of bars?
Yeah.
On
Okay,
your
now this
phone.
is 3 bar. Is that
Uh-huh.
okay?
3 bar, but not just the bar. 3 bar on 2G, or 3 bar on 3G,
Well, this is 4G.
or 3 bar on 4G.
Yeah.
So you have to also look at that. So if you are on 5 bar on 2G, you can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
But if you have a relatively good amount of bars, say 4 bars, 5 bars, 3G, 4G, yes, you can have good data.
So that is
on
the
your
coverage.
phone. That's the coverage.
And how do you get the four bars?
Now,
That's what I was trying
that
to know.
also comes with the telcos and their cell towers.
So that means that's
as well.
where they come in.
Exactly. They have to come in and make sure that the area, the best way to explain this is
Yeah.
using the circles.
Okay.
So it's like an intersection of circles. There's an intersection of circles. So if there's some circle that in the middle
Yeah.
they don't intersect, you find that there's like a black hole.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
you have very bad coverage in
Yeah,
that particular
area.
sector.
So it's like circles intersecting each other.
So
So,
exactly,
one is
so
kind
this-
of supporting the other.
exactly. So the cell towers need to intersect like that, so that they can support around, that
Yeah.
particular sector. That also accounts for one. Another thing that could also account for slow internet could be the weather.
Yeah.
The weather, if the weather is bad, there's a lot of rain, thunderstorm, whatnot, millimeter waves, they get a lot of interference on weather.
Yeah.
So it's also very important. The location, if you're on a flat land, it's easy. Now if you're in a tropical environment with mountains,
Like,
imagine you're in
there's-
Tanzania, normally Tanzania with Kilimanjaro, man.
Why do things like this come up here?
I mean, yeah, it's very difficult. They would have to use satellites for you,
Yeah.
and getting a satellite for you makes things much more difficult. Exactly. So the tropical nature of the place also accounts for this. That's for mobile. Now, if you go to broadband
Yeah.
or to our homes, fixed lines, you can have fiber. You can have Wazia, which is like the copper cable.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are usually the two main ones we use. If you use fiber, you get very good internet.
So the fiber doesn't mean that it connects straight from the tower to your home.
Yes, I mean currently I know Vodafone and MTN, especially in Ghana,
Yeah.
they've done a fiber network. They have a fiber network around Ghana. So yeah, in certain places, if you contact them, they can get fiber to your house. But I looked at their data plans and it's still difficult. It's not entirely affordable.
But they spend money for that kind of investment.
Exactly.
And it's triggered down to you.
It's
You are
not
feeling the effects.
entirely. It's not entirely affordable. I was even looking at. I made a particular church get a fiber from Vodafone, and I checked their speed, and their speed was around 60 Mbps.
Wow.
My hostel here has more. My hostel is not even fiber. It's land.
Wow.
And it has more internet. It has better data rate anyway than that with fiber. So you think about it like you're providing fiber, but the way they are approximating the data rates to various homes and to various categories is not the best, I should say. It's not the best because you can't really use it for anything. And there's so much limits to it. There's so much limit to it that you can't do anything reasonable with it. All you can do is just check your emails, YouTube here and there, but you can't really use it for any content creation.
Okay. Well, I mean, internet, 5G itself is a very broad topic, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a very broad topic, and I want us to talk about. I mean, address the elephant in the room right now. Cybersecurity, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, the moment you mention that, people start thinking of.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and we both come from a continent where we both know it's not a cliche. I mean, it is a cliche, but it's also the truth. Like the cyber rates and what people are using the internet for good, the rates are just far apart.
Yes, they are.
I mean,
yes.
In Africa, people who use the internet for bad and for good, you realize that the rates are just not equal.
Yes, it's true, but you see, the thing is,
so right now, how do you? I mean, you're introducing 5G or 4G. You're trying to make it affordable. Do you know you're also trying at the same time? Well, I'm just saying, what if someone, for the purposes of this, thinks about a question like this? I mean, how come you bring this? It's affordable. People are now getting it. You're subsidizing. You're doing all the good things. Okay, but you realize that you're also laying the ground or making the groundwork easier for these, let me say, predators.
Okay.
To make their work even faster.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, but the same goes for any other thing in the world. You can't just look at the bad side. You can also look at the good side of it. You would have to battle the bad side when the need arises. But then the championing the good side is the priority here, because what is going to happen is faster internet means better business.
Yeah.
Okay. Unemployment will reduce drastically because there's going to be job creation.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to be more open to the world.
Yeah, that means our work is going to be international.
Exactly, we are going to go international, so business is going to boom. And so if you look at all these good things for a country, and you look at the few or the minority who still would want to do all those their cyber stuff, fraud and all that. But even that, I think it's coming down a bit because people are becoming smarter now. You know, the people they are getting that they are becoming smarter now.
The awareness
is more, and right now they are generating more artificial intelligence, we call AI. AI algorithms that can detect fraud and all that. So these things are happening. So,
well, in Africa,
I mean, it's a world thing. It's not just Africa.
Yeah, but in Africa, these things are not just. I mean, just there. It's still happening.
It's still happening, but you see, the beauty of it is, if we still move on to the 4G era or to the 5G era or to an era where internet is a need, the police also have the availability to also catch these corporates.
Okay, you mean they'll be more equipped now?
Exactly, they'll be more equipped to handle these corporates.
Yeah, I was thinking. I think that is one of the best solutions. I think they should be more equipped first. They should be given the best equipment with 5G or 4G equipment, so that they can also be educated as well how
Exactly.
to go around these
Now,
things.
and you wonder how many police stations actually have internet.
How many of them even have a computer and have record files of lodged complaints?
Exactly,
I mean,
and
they've logged everything
yeah.
in the computer base.
And
It's still a paperwork.
it's paperwork.
It's still paperwork. You go and they give a piece of paper, write a statement,
Write a statement.
and they put it in a folder and they dump it somewhere.
So the thing is, how are you going to solve that? Because if you have better internet, okay,
Yeah.
the police have better internet. They have the facilities. Everything is,
You make a
categorized.
911 call and they're
Exactly.
able
They
to
know
triangulate your place.
exactly. They can
Yeah.
triangulate your place. They can know your position.
Yeah.
They know what is happening around you and everything. It's going to be easier. Okay. Now, if you also have this 4G and this 5G thing happening, people using the internet cafes, there's going to be more regulatory,
Exactly.
policies.
I think that's where the
for
government
these
really
things.
comes in.
Exactly. So there's going to be a sort of monitoring policy, because of these, because we are moving to a different era. We need to also put certain things in place, like a monitoring policy,
Yeah.
so that we can also sieve and find out who these corporates are.
Corporates are.
So it's a good.
Well, yeah, good to them and good to the good people.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good. It's also nice to also catch corporates as well.
Yeah. So finally, I think, do you think Africa has the right and ability to purchase 5G? Because I know 5G has to be purchased.
I mean, yeah, the telecom companies
they need to go purchase it.
go get it.
Yeah. Do you think Africa has the right and the ability? If I say right, I mean the infrastructure. If I say the ability, the muscle, the finance.
I mean, right. The thing is, you also need a market for it.
Yeah.
You need a market for it. Now, like I said, 4G, you're talking about 1 gigabit per second. If you can achieve a good 4G,
Yeah.
you'll be okay.
I see.
Then later on, you can start thinking of 5G. Let's first of all think of a good 4G, a better 4G, then the 5Gs and the 6Gs and whatnot will follow too. Exactly, because it becomes a need.
Now,
But right now, it's more of a want.
Yeah.
It's not a need. So it's like a back and forth. But
Yeah.
it becomes so normal and it's so common. And it's like a mobile phone, when the thing everybody had it, and then we moved on to the Motorola, the Flip, and then everybody started getting the touch screen, the BlackBerry, and then so it becomes so common. And then we move on to the next stage. It becomes so common. Then there's a demand, and then people want more. But right now, people have so less that the more that we are talking about, they might not necessarily want it.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a pity.
It is. But I believe that Africa is the next powerhouse in the world.
Yeah,
and if we
considering
want to push that, we have the most amount of youth in the world.
Yeah.
So if we want to push this particular internet agenda, okay, where we can make it affordable and available to almost everybody in Africa, then we can push that particular agenda further.
Okay, so what do you think? I mean, it's not what you think. What is your keynote about this? The face of internet in Africa.
Okay, the next phase of
because
internet
we are
in Africa needs affordable internet.
Affordable,
available internet.
Available.
A government
Regulated.
Or government regulated
policies.
And you also need the people as well. The people need to find the need for it.
Yeah.
If you don't have a job, even if you have a job, they need to expand your business. Okay, they need to get connected to the world.
Because I speak to a lot of guys, girls, youth, like our colleagues, and some even send me a message and he was like, "Look, it's not like I'm dumb or I don't know what to do. Like, I know what to do. The systems are just not in place for me now.
For you to do exactly, and then that's the problem. So if the government can at least do that, or get the telcos to do that for people, then people will find ways and means of creating their own content. Because right now, Funny Face is on social media. This guy, on social media,
Give me this guy about this Jesus guy.
That's the Muslim guy. He's on social media, Lil Wayne. I mean, Kwekuman, he's posting a video almost every day.
Yeah.
30 plus, 40 plus views, 40,000 views almost every day. Now that's employment for you.
Yeah. I think that we are really constrained with time. I mean,
Yeah.
this conversation is really
topic.
it's a
Hopefully another
very
time we can
broad topic,
continue.
very broad topic, and I don't know. Do you have some last words for listeners and also viewers? Like, I mean, do you have something to tell them?
I mean, the first thing I want to tell viewers is to support this channel. This is a good channel.
Thank you so much.
And we'll have to still champion the cause to get a better internet service back in our homes. The first thing that we need to create the need for it.
Yeah.
We need to start pushing the government, you know,
To see that this
to
is
see
really
that,
a good
yeah,
thing.
to see that it's a good thing. The way the government pushed, it was in Ghana. The way the government pushed for education.
That's right.
Exactly.
Like,
The same vein should be pushed towards.
I mean, there were so many
bringing
people saying, you
internet.
know, free high school can be implemented.
Exactly.
There's, I mean, now people burdens are just being
Exactly.
taken
So,
off.
if they want Africa to be the next, the next powerhouse of the world, internet.
It's internet.
There's nothing else. It's internet.
It's just internet. Okay. It's not about even 5G.
It's
internet,
internet.
affordability,
Exactly.
and also the need
The need for it.
All right. If there's things I've learned from this, it's three things: the need for the internet, affordability, and also I don't even know what to say right now.
The need,
affordability, availability. That's right.
And the regulatory bodies.
How can I forget that? Yes, the regulatory bodies. So at least these three things. I mean, this is what we can do for today. But you watching and you listening, you have the capacity to propagate this out there. So please support this channel, like, subscribe, send a comment, send me a DM. It's the Outlaw Show, and it's a wrap up. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for making it this far. We hope you enjoyed the show. To enjoy this and more, kindly subscribe, follow, and share, or simply head to www.mysktpodcast.com for more episodes. You make the show come alive because of your support. Thank you and peace out.